Welcome to Hidden Reality, Cinematic B-roll. We're about to dive into the dark, unseen forces allegedly controlling one of the most profitable and frankly destructive industries on the planet. For years, you and I have been fed a very specific, polished narrative about this world. But today, we're pulling back the curtain to see what's actually hiding in the shadows. Think about Mia Khalifa. She literally became a household name overnight. Right? She was everywhere, absolutely dominating search engines across the globe. But what really happened to one of the internet's most infamous figures? Because the truth behind her sudden, terrifying exit from the spotlight, well, it's something very few people actually know. Zoom effect. Despite all that global notoriety and the massive, lasting image she left behind, her entire career in this dark underworld lasted just 3 months. Yeah, you heard that right. Literally just 3 months. It was a brief, incredibly intense descent into a reality she barely escaped. It completely shatters what most of the public thought about her time in the industry, doesn't it? So, let's talk about the lure of easy money and how this trap is actually set. To understand how this massive global machine operates, we really need to look at how it systematically targets its victims in the first place. According to our source material, these recruiters act a lot like predators spotting prey. They zero in on deep-seated vulnerabilities, like Mia's documented childhood insecurities about her appearance. And they don't lurk in dark alleys. They just casually approach young people at totally normal day jobs, like working the counter at a fast food joint. They dangle this illusion of making a quick, easy $1,000 for a single day of work. But that easy money is an absolute trap. Get this. Over her incredibly brief 3-month career, despite generating massive global traffic, she walked away with just $12,000. Meanwhile, the industry made millions upon millions off her image. It perfectly highlights the terrifying power imbalance that exists from literally day one. But what happened next was even more shocking. The initial allure quickly dissolved into what can only be described as a legalized nightmare. We're talking about an ironclad trap where performers are essentially signing away their freedom. Document reveal. The source claims these agencies use incredibly deceitful, legally binding contracts. The language is so unbelievably complex that suing them later, pretty much impossible. On the surface, sure, the clauses seem like they're totally in your favor, but in reality, they legally trap the performers and completely strip away their rights, all under this fake guise of professional protection. Impartially reporting what the source lays out, the reality on set is genuinely harrowing. The claim is that consent evaporates the second the camera turns off. Performers are allegedly forced into off-camera compliance, meaning they literally have no right to refuse crew members. They're reportedly forced to appease directors and cameramen completely against their will, while content is illegally recorded and distributed everywhere. It's a very dark way to build the ultimate illusion. And that brings us to the illusion versus reality, and how they manufacture this massive deception. This industry survives by selling a highly profitable lie. It's a carefully crafted narrative designed to distort the viewer's minds and totally hide the suffering that's happening just out of frame. Before-after comparison, what viewers consume as a simple, seamless 30-minute video. In reality, it's an agonizing 8 to 10-hour physical ordeal. It's a grueling shoot from multiple angles, constantly stopping and starting, all designed to look flawless and glamorous to the consumer while completely masking the total exhaustion of the performers. But here's the kicker. This manufactured reality allegedly bleeds directly into the real world. According to the source, this deception is actively destroying marriages and relationships. Consumers are increasingly demanding these fake, extreme, highly produced scenarios from their real-life, everyday partners. It's totally warping reality. However, the truth was far darker. We need to talk about the hidden forces, the unseen elite. You see, this industry isn't just some loose collection of independent websites. The source strongly outlines that it's allegedly a massive global syndicate controlled by hidden, untouchable elites. The source makes this staggering claim that this billion-dollar network is managed by shadow forces so intensely powerful that absolutely no world leader, no judicial system, and no army chief can dismantle them. They supposedly exist entirely above the laws that govern the rest of us. Just let that sink in for a second. And their reach, it's expanding into our homes every single day. The statistics are wild. The average American is now watching 11 minutes of this a day, and a shocking 33% of the modern global audience is now made up of females. The normalization of this hidden reality is happening right in front of our eyes. Now, you might be asking yourself, if the reality is this grim and the abuse is this rampant, why don't they just leave? Well, let's look at the actual cost of leaving and why this trap feels like it never ends. Because escaping comes with severe, highly calculated retaliation. The source claims the industry intentionally hoards and stockpiles unreleased footage, sometimes holding on to 3 to 4 years' worth of content. If someone tries to walk away, they slowly release this content to systematically ruin their reputation. And even more chillingly, they allegedly target a performer's family, their siblings, and even their kids at school, just to force them back into submission. Document reveal. What investigators discovered changed everything. There's this explosive claim that Mia Khalifa's infamous, widely reported ISIS death threats were actually a completely fabricated cover story. Yep. The source notes she was directed by the industry itself to blame ISIS for her departure, because blaming the hidden forces controlling the syndicate would mean certain death. It was a manufactured narrative designed to hide the terrifying true reasons she fled. And these forces are incredibly opportunistic too. The source points out that during the COVID-19 global job crisis, they aggressively recruited desperate, financially ruined women. The exploitation allegedly reached a point where they were forcing sick individuals, some with severe fevers, to set up home cameras just to keep feeding this relentless machine. So the crucial question we are left with is this: if the forces behind this massive global illusion are completely untouchable, who is really in control of what we consume? If you enjoyed this documentary, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Hidden Reality for more fascinating mysteries, untold stories, and extraordinary events from around the world. This is Hidden Reality. Subscribe now and join us as we uncover the world's most fascinating mysteries, untold stories, and hidden truths.